Oh, it's there. Idiot. Good evening, Patrick. Good evening, everybody else. We'll just get the bench cleared off. Because no, we're not doing CB radios. We're on the dance set, but these were here because somebody's interested in them. So I just decided to photograph them. I decided to photograph them. Hey, and send somebody some photographs. Right, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to put the tuner back in. We're going to fire this thing up for the first time in God knows how long on the bench and see if we can at least get the radio to do something. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Mark. Nice to see you on. Right. Let's bring the chassis back down. Right, I was looking at the aerial wires. Just the aerial there. Now these aerial wires are off, but that's no problem because they go to the external aerial socket. So we're alright with those. What we want to do is put the tuner back on and put the transformer back on. So if I can ever find my glasses, that would be an advantage. There they are. Yep, so we're all... So let's get the phone set up so I can look at you all. Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Sir Paul. Really been looking forward to this, Mark, so have I. Yeah, I always look forward to switching them on for the first time when they've not been on. That's the speaker wire. We're not going to bother with the on-off switch. We can take the transformer, which is here, we can take that straight into the safe block. I think we can. We'll be able to just take that straight into the safe block and not bother with the on-off switch. Thank you very much, Paul. That's nice to know that. Cheers, buddy. I was going to do a job for a friend of mine this afternoon which involved fitting a new electric microphone into a little radio he bought, a little 70cm radio he bought from Goulburn, but I don't think it's the microphone, but we never got to that because because it was that old we couldn't work out how the damn thing was put on the frequency you wanted to use it on. So, and even the service manual was vague, to say the least. Right, so that red Goes with that yellow, but that's only for the pilot lamp, so don't have to worry about that. The black, so let's see where we're up to with this, because we did take some memory joggers, and if you're going to do this, take memory joggers. Don't worry what other people think. Right, there we go, you see, we've got our memory joggers. There we are. Yep. Yellow and red. Go yellow and red from the bulb, that is. Go to the low tension. Remove this camera. Go to the low tension. The soldering iron leader's got stuck in the drawer. There we go. Now what we'll do, we'll move the phone out of the way. Have a quick sip of me coffee. And probably going to be end up putting them on that way. It's easier to get to, so yep. The low tension is that one. You don't ever want to get this wrong. If you do, it'll be a bad day for your valve eaters. So you can see why I'm actually double checking everything as I go along. Red is the middle, which is a high tension. We haven't done the resistors yet. We're going to do those in the next part. I was going to do them in this part, but I want to make sure everything's working, because R11 needs to be changed as a precaution, but it is working at the moment, so we can run it temporary on the bench. With that in place, it'd be okay. And that's that. Then this is the pilot light, and we can just stick that on there. There we go. Now we want to look at the tuner, because we need to, and now to be honest, to be perfectly, oh, get out of there you, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know, I'm just checking that we're not got any bent plates. We'll look okay. Yeah, it feels smooth as glass. Right, I know the yellow goes on here, that's for sure, the yellow goes on here. But I don't know which way round the red and the white go. I don't know at all. I know the white, I know when they go up, they go like that. So, and one of them's a bit shorter than the other. So that might give us some sort of clue. So what we'll do, we'll stick that on there. So we don't know what's going to happen, whether we're going to get any action from the radio. We should. That's on there. It's not perfect, but it'll do, because we're only testing. Yeah, Steve's friend who came to Goulburn with us on Sunday, he wants me to look at some record players. So I don't know whether this goes this one or it goes on the other one. We don't know that. Let me just blow my nose. Don't you hate it when you've got one right on the end and you know. There we go. It's better. So I don't know whether whether this is the medium wave or whether that's the medium wave. I don't know. But that's all back on. And this goes in this goes in either way. So that's that. So what we'll do now, we'll bring the aerial over the back here and we'll try and turn the whole lot so that I can get to it from the front. Alright, this lead here is not original. Them wires there are not original, so they'll be replaced with some that are. Or, well, no, maybe not as are, but be good. It's just, we don't need anything in the way. That doesn't have to be in the way. We want the tuner so that we can get to it. There we go. We want the band selector. Is the volume turned on and off on this? Yeah. We need the band selector switch on so that we can go between the bands at least. And that's the treble. One of them will be treble and bass. We'll probably lose a camera. Well, we're going to camera 4 anyway, so it doesn't really make a great deal of difference. But what we'll do, we get the safe block. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to unplug that from there. I just need to shift some crap off the workbench really. Right, so we want that in there. We want to get, so right, it doesn't matter which way we put this. Let's turn the variac down. See, we are going to bring it up on the variac because piece of tape off there. Let's see if we can get this aerial. See, we don't want things in the way. We don't want anything in the way that can hit the transformer and cause any damage. So we'll put the aerial there. And if we need to move the aerial, we can. That's on the ground. That we need to connect it, tap the ground on. We shouldn't need to, but we can if we need to. Now that's how it would be. That's pretty much how it would be in the record player, in the case. that's how much it would be. That's how it would be. Apart from that, now we get our bench speaker. Get the knife so that we can I think it wants to see a load of 8 ohms this, but it'll do. We're not going to be having it on that long. Won't be on that long, so we don't know how long it'll be on for. We don't even know if it'll come on. We don't know anything about this because it could be a bad transformer. Could be anything. It's an unknown quantity. We don't know anything because I wasn't the one who took it apart. Somebody else did. But I know I've been through it, and I'm happy with what I've done. Yeah. Is that bulb tight? Let's tighten that, let's turn that up a bit. If that bulb's blown or we're getting nothing, let's just check. Is the bulb's any good? We will probe the HT in a minute. So there's no bloody room on here now for me freaking meter. There we go. See if the bulb's blown. Bulb's okay. So the bulb's okay. So what we'll do, we'll see. Oh, let me just check something. We can know what it might be. No, that's all on. Yeah, that's all on. Yeah, everything there's on. Keep the speaker away from the transformer. So what we'll do, we'll see. Let's make sure that we're not come out here. Yeah, we have. There we are. Right, well we've got the pilot light's coming on. I don't know which one of these is the volume. I think this is the selector. Oh, this is the volume. Right. I've got 103 volts there, DC. So it's making DC. $162. And we're getting a crackle in the speaker. We're getting a crackle in the speaker there. So let's see. Looking good.
Would you not? No. Would you not? No.
Am I the best or am I the best?
I have the team using. Would you like to know? So Liverpool.
Am I the best or am I the best, eh, folks? Bit of a short bit of crap in there.
And I think that front team, Curtis Jones. Yeah, where he's playing, where he is. I mean, this is a strong team. It's a really strong team. Okay, Spurs, Hugo Reis, Perisic, Dyer, Langley, Sessignon, Benton, Kerr, Hoiberg, Lucas, Son, and Kane. I mean, that's as strong as Spurs. I'm just looking at their bench. Just looking skips on the bench as well.
There's Graham. No home. Long wave. And there's something there. But I'm not sure. Lost two cameras. Right, so what we'll do, we're not sure. Just got my cameras back. That's the only issue with this software. It might not even be the software, but that's the only issue I have with the setup I'm using now. Is my cameras have an habit of taking a powder. But I can live with that because the software was free and I think it's a good program. I hope that was not coming back. Why is camera 3 decided not want to come back? Oh well. Camera 3's took a powder. I'm not going to mess with it now. Right, let's go to camera 4. There we are. Right. So let's have a look at the chat. So basically we know that the radiogram is now working. I've got to just go around it, just check a few resistors. Well, your radio will pick something up, Mark. as long as we can replace. In that radio of yours is a transistorized radio, and it uses them pesky AF117s. If they've gone, then we'll have to put 127s in, and that's where and they're not cheap anymore. But once we replace the 117, once we replace them AF117s, if they're bad, I won't replace them if they're not. But if they are, then then obviously I have to add that onto obviously the bill for the parts. But yeah, they will work. I mean, there's still stuff on AM at the moment. I mean, I will try that tuner the other way around. I'm not going to try it now, but I will try it the other way around to see if it works any better, and I'll have a look, see if there's any plates catching anywhere, causing it to crackle. But for the most part, it's working. You've heard the radio. This is exactly what worries you. Yeah, will it be? Yeah, it will once it's been done. You want it. You only want it as original as possible. Well, you can have it as original as possible, but it won't be original because they never are. If you're, let me say this, Mark. If your when your radiogram was brand new back in 1965, and in 1966 the valve burnt out, then the engine it went back and it had a valve replaced. It's still not original, is it? So yeah. Really, people shouldn't worry about them being original. What they should worry about is them being safe. And as long as they look original from the outside, who's going to ask you to ever open that up and have a look? Mind you, that did happen to me once. I'll get into that in a minute. I'll tell you about that when I'm finished. Yeah, I know a few auto electricians actually, Paul, are very, very, very good, but they won't attempt to do what I'm doing. And what's Simon called us tonight? I did see. Oh, good evening, diode diplomats. Good evening to you, Simon. Dogs bollocks bar none, says Mark. Andy, thank you very much, Mark. Simon Wiggle. Simon said, always say good evening to Mark. No, I wouldn't put Bluetooth in unless somebody requested it. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't put, I'd rather leave your radio not working if I couldn't get it working. I'd rather leave it not working than do something you didn't want. I'd rather just not do, we will get it go. I will get it going, but if I couldn't, I'd rather just leave it as is. Because I suppose that's its original state, isn't it? That's the state it's going to end up in. So I suppose it's that. But no, I would never ever I'll make it clear now, folks, while we're talking about this. I will never ever and I mean never, do anything on a person's item without getting their permission, their approval to do so. In the same way, I will never divulge anybody's telephone number or address without their authority. Don't worry about that. If anyone sends anything in to be repaired, it will never get modified. It will be made safe and be made usable, but it will never be never be subjected to having Bluetooth. or any other modifications. The only thing I will ever do is inside certain modules where certain transistors are known for playing up. If them transistors are working, I will leave them. If they're not working, I will take them out and I will replace them with equivalents that will work and that will get the radio working as good as it did. I will never ever replace. I will never ever put a chip on radio in anything that never had one, and I won't put Bluetooth in anything that never had it. If it's my own, that's a different matter. I did do that once with an RG65, and because somebody said, well, put Bluetooth in it, it'll sell, and it didn't. Well, it did, but it sold eventually, and it was, I won't mind, it was mint and all. It was mint, and I had to put Bluetooth in it because I couldn't get the radio working. And I couldn't justify paying the price for the transistors. I didn't have any AF117s in. And I couldn't justify paying the price for them. So I, given there's not a lot on AM radio, I decided to go down the Bluetooth route. And it sat there for about 6 or 7 months. And eventually a gentleman called Mick spotted it. Not far from me. He spotted it. And he asked if he could come round and have a look, and luckily he purchased it. He didn't purchase it for the asking price. I had to reduce it a little. Bit, but he got rid of it. It was out of here. So I learnt my lesson on that. No Bluetooth unless somebody specifically wants it. But not only that, if that thing had flew out the door, I still wouldn't Bluetooth another person's belongings without first getting up or doing any modification. The only time I'll go ahead and do a modification, I'll let you all know now, the only time I'll do a modification that I don't get the permission from the person who owns it is if it's a safety modification and I feel that it has to be done, like 3-core mains leads. 3-core mains lead, I put if it can be earthed, I put a 3-core power lead on them. Yeah, remember that video where I put the Bluetooth into the Dansette? Yeah, I wish I hadn't. What I actually wish, I wish I'd have just left it and sold it without the radio working. It might have sold quicker. Because most people not going to use AM radio, most people would have wanted it for the record player. I wish I'd have done that, but I thought, well, we'll give it a go, and it's the first and the last time. That's right. I think he's fell out with me. I don't know why, but every time I phone him now, I don't answer his phone. Because I had a bit of a dispute with him on Sunday. He was being a bit obnoxious, to be perfectly honest. And I said, I don't need this, Mildred, and put the phone down. And he won't answer his phone. So I think he's spat his dummy out. But he'll answer eventually. We don't fall out long. We're good friends, really. But that's it. You see, you can't. You can't say better than that. I mean, I won't do anything. I mean, people. Not everybody wants Bluetooth. If I want Bluetooth, I'll go out and buy a device that can do it. Simple and plain and simple. I'll go out and buy a device that can do it. But I certainly won't put it in somebody's unit unless they specifically ask. But any safety modifications, yeah, they get done. But I don't really allow anybody to have a say in that. It's like the Mildred, he come round one night and he asked me if he bought a Bush record player, a Bush SRP 31C, And he says to me, he says, I don't want anything doing, all I want you to do is get it going. I said, well, we don't work like that here, Mildred. I said, I don't work like that. I said, you either have it all or you have nothing. It's simple, you know. If he wanted to take the record deck and service that himself, yeah, that's fine, because a few of you lads have sent the amps to me and you've done your own decks. Yeah, I can accept that, and I said that to him. So if you want to take the deck and service it, if you're capable of it, which he wasn't, I said, if you're capable of it, you take the deck away, you service that. I says, but the amplifier is getting the full treatment. I says, I don't do bodge ups here, Mildred. You know. I said, if you want it codging up just to sell it, take it somewhere else. I says, I'm not putting my name on it. And he stood there, he says, right, he says, well, you know, he said, well, would you give us me 20 quid back that I paid? And you sell it, you do it and sell it. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I did that, and I ended up with it. And I think I had it about 2 or 3 weeks, and it sold. I mean, Bush are by far my best sellers. Them SRP 31s, they fly out the door when I get them. You know, I can't get enough of them things. Same as SRP 50s and 51s and 40s and 40 or 42s or whatever they are. I seem to do well with Bush record players. People seem to like them. Dansets, they tend to hang around a bit like a bad smell. And that orange Fidelity, I don't know whether any of you guys remember that plastic orange Fidelity, that hung around like it had herpes. I thought the thing had leprosy. It was here that long. That was Mildred's. Anyway, that went a few weeks ago. It finally went. I didn't think it was ever going to. But it finally did. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're not the only one there, Mark. I like things original. I like things the way that they were manufactured, if it's at all possible to keep it that way. I mean, I'm not into restuffing capacitors and going that far. I don't do that. I have done the one or two to show you how it's done, but if I was to sit there and cut open capacitors and restuff them, it would add to it and it would take me longer. And I've even had one of my Dansets come back to me, not because it was faulty, mind you. Let's make that clear. I know it was mine because I remember doing the work on it. My friend in Shildon, Phil, he brought me a load of Dansets. And on one occasion, I think it was on his second trip here, he brought me an RG31. Same as what's down here, only it was an early one from around 1959, 1960. Had a UA12 deck in it. That was the one with the red switches and the nice piece of plastic. And I thought, well, that's funny because they don't usually have those. And then I remembered about 2004 or something daft. 2004, 2005, I did one. And it was blue, it was exactly the same colour. And I did all the work on it. And the only thing I didn't do was change R11. Because I didn't know about R11 at the time. I'd never come across one that had failed. Anyway, so I didn't replace it. So when Phil come in about 2015 or 16 or something, that was a bit later than that. When he came on his second trip, I think it was, I opened this thing up, and when you've worked on something, you automatically know your own work, and it was actually one that had sold a long time ago, a very long time ago. It was one that had sold. I can't remember who to, but I put it on eBay. Because there was no Facebook marketplace then, so I put it on eBay and got rid of it. I'd sold it, but I put the UA12 in it because it had a UA14, and I put the UA12 because it looked nicer. And I remember the capacitors and everything, and I phoned Phil up. I said, this used to be mine. He says, you're joking? I said, no. I said, it used to be mine. I said, because it was done exactly the same way that I do it. And not everybody does it the same way I do it. We all have our little differences. But, you know, it was done exactly the way I do things. It didn't have the, what do you call it, in it? It didn't have the modern rectifier or the fuse. I weren't doing that then. That's only a recent thing where I've started putting the modern diode and putting the fuse in it. I started doing that with the Bush, the SRP31C. That's when I first started doing that modification. Because the rectifier in those is always definitely gone. These you can get away with, they tend not to go that often, but them ones did. Them selenium ones in the Bush, they do. They're known for it. But I thought, I got the idea, well I may as well do it all with these and put a fuse in the circuit as well. You know, that way if the modern rectifier fails, then the fuse will blow, and it won't blow the transformer, unless of course somebody decides that they want to put a silver paper around the fuse and prevent it from blowing, which will then cook the transformer in short order. But I put a fuse in it, and if it has to blow, it can. I'll put a 2 amp fuse. 1 amp fuse. Oh no, yeah, it is a 1 amp. I found my fuse kit. Yeah, it is a 1 amp fuse. Because I've run out of 500 milliamp, which is about half amp or something, isn't it? I run out of them, so I'll put a 1 amp in it. A 1 amp will blow if it has to. If it needs to, it will pop. You know, but yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. But yeah, give me originality any day of the week. I mean, yeah, I like things to, but safety. I mean, they were far from safe when they were original. When they would, you know, because really, Dansette didn't have to penny pinch. They could have put a 3-core power cable in those, and just charged an extra couple of pence, or whatever it was back then, for the extra core of for the extra lead. I mean, there's a lot of things they could have done, but they didn't. You know, unfortunately. But yeah, so at least we know that all the vital organs in this are all working. The valves are working. The radio, all the valves work. The radio does receive. I need to double check the wiring on the tuner. Then to the red and the red and the white could be the wrong way around. I don't know. I need to find out why it crackles when we turn it. It could just have crap in it. I've looked and I can't see any bent plates, so it might just have crap in it. It might just need blowing out. Might even clear with just using it. So, you know, yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this is turning out. Those moving on a little bit, the CB radios I bought on Sunday from Chris All the Gear No Idea. I've got somebody who I speak to at night on the CB, and we're also on Facebook. We're Facebook friends as well. And I spoke to him last night, and I sent him some photographs, and he's interested in those radios. So I'm going to get them serviced up very shortly. Get them all serviced. He wanted to buy them as is, but I don't sell things as is. I service everything. The only time I'll do that is if somebody wants to buy something for spares, but he wants to buy them to try and make something on them. So or to do something with them. I just hope he's not going to steal the PLL chips out of them, because I won't sell him them if he's going to do that, because a lot of these AM rigs no longer exist, because what backstreet rig doctors used to do back in the day, they used to buy AM rigs, take the PLL out and piggyback an FM, a UK, or what we call nowadays, we call it a Muppet rig, a CB 2781. They used to piggyback those with them very crudely. So if he's gonna do that, then I won't flog him the radios, because there's not a lot of AM radios left in the UK, because a lot of them found that fate. People used to steal the PLL just to put it in, just to mid-band, piggyback and mid-band a radio that didn't work properly after it was done anyway. I've never found one that works properly. And the only ones I think that do work properly, there's a guy called Microchips, with a Z at the end, Microchips. And he's on YouTube, and he makes his own boards, and he uses pick chips and Arduinos and all sorts to do these, and he gets them absolutely bang on. He gets them absolutely bang on both bands. So, you know, that's so if I was going to do a modification, I would buy what I needed from him. He designs it all himself, makes it all himself. He has the boards made professionally, and you buy it with your pick chip. We buy it with a pick chip on it, and all you do, you pull out your PLL chip, put it on the board he supplies, and solder the board to where your PLL went, and you don't have to cut any tracks. Then all you do, just find a suitable switch, like the CBPA or the tone switch or whatever, something you don't use, a switch that never gets used. You put it on that for to switch the band, and yeah. So, but yeah, I'll link his channel in, not on this video, but I'll link his channel in on Sunday. When I do the CB Radio Sunday, I'll link him in with that. But I've been watching all his videos. I don't think he's been there very long, but he's very, very good. He explains it. And let me say this: if I was gonna spend my money on a radio, on a CB radio, there's only really two places. We're talking about guaranteed working. There's only two places I would actually go for it. I would either go to my friend Richard in Lincolnshire, who I sent the Harvard to. I'd either go to him if I wanted one that wasn't modified, because he takes the modifications out of them quite right as well, if that's what you want to do. But I would go to him. But if I wanted one with mid-band already in it, then yeah, I would buy one from Microchips. I would definitely. He also has a Facebook group, and it was very helpful, because my Marco died. It did, it died. A Darlington transistor burnt out, and it would transmit on SSB, but wouldn't transmit on AM or FM. And I asked him for assistance, because he makes the boards, and I thought, if he makes the boards, he must have a clue what the fault might be. And he said he'd never had that fault. So, but he did invite me to join his Facebook group. It was completely free, don't cost anything, just join the group. And he said there's lots of knowledgeable rig doctors on there, somebody will know. And a guy called Dave came back, told me exactly what it was, what the problem was. I ordered the part, put it in, and it's worked perfectly. It did blow a fuse. It did blow the inline fuse in the power lead a couple of days after, but that was down to my fault. I thought he wanted to see 8 volts at the output on receive, at the final output on receive on AM or FM. So that's what I set it to. It didn't. It wanted to see 8 volts on transmit, and anywhere between 12 and 13.8 volts full rail power on receive, because it switched at the band selector. When you switch it to SSB, the Darlington transistor isn't used; it's switched off. And when you switch it to AM or FM, it's switched back in again, and whatever feeds the sideband, whatever feeds the power for the sideband is switched off for the transistor, to the output transistor. Very cleverly done. So at least if your AM and FM decides it doesn't want to transmit, at least you can still go on. At least you can still use your single sideband. You know, you can still go on triple nickel and things like that. And, you know, you can still gas away to a point. But, yeah. I would definitely recommend him to anybody. And his Facebook group, absolutely. You know, and it was late at night when I emailed him as well. I joined the group and I carried on chatting to this fella, and he just said look for 8 volts. So I looked for 8 volts, there was no 8 volts. I told him there was no 8 volts. He says, right, change that Darlington. I did, and problem was solved. I use that radio every night. It's my, if you want to call it, a daily driver. I use it every night without fail. I speak to my friends on it on mid-band, and we have a good gas and good gossip. And I actually use a Leeson, but it's really a Turner rebadged. It's actually a Turner microphone. I forget which model it is, but they come badged as Leesons, Handmasters and all sorts, but they're actually made by Turner and they're good mics. I use a Turner desk mic on it. Yeah, we could do, couldn't we? Yeah, we've got everything. Let's just catch up here, see what's happening. Yeah. Imagine that happening, the chances of it here. Yeah, we've got rain here. We haven't got the thunder yet, but we've got the rain. We've got half of it, I suppose. But you won't hear the chat, will you? Well, I suppose you would actually. You'd hear me, but you wouldn't hear anyone else. Yeah, it was an illegal. Yeah, it was. It was an illegal practice. It still is. Putting modifications into UK rigs. Export radios. Well, they were just illegal everywhere, weren't they? Things like Colt 444s and my Marco 747 and Ham International Jumbos. You know, that kind of thing. They were all Cybernet rigs. You know, all made by Cybernet. They churned them out by the millions, didn't they? But they were bloody good radios, I'll tell you that, folks. They were bloody good radios. Far better than any of the UK radios that were made. I mean, Cybernet made a lot of the UK radios, like your Fidelity 2000, that had the Cybernet economy, what we call the economy chassis. But it was still a Cybernet chassis. It still worked well. I've got one in there. I've got an economy chassis up there. It's in a Mustang 1000, and the receiver on that is absolutely unbelievable. But all your Roltels, your Benetton 5-star, your Harvard 420M, your Harriers, your Yorks, they all had a Cybernet 134 boards in them. You know, a lot of them had, you know, even there was even an Oscar made with a 431 board, a 134 board in it. Very, very good radios. And then you had Uniden, which were good, and Maxon. Maxon were good. Stuff that Maxon made. They made all the Midlands and Maxcoms and stuff like that. They made all that sort of stuff. The Midland Precision series, the 3001 to the 2001 to the 4001. I'd like to get a 4001 for my collection because I've got a 3001 and a 2001. My 2001 is a bit scabby, and I got my 3001 off Chris Orlegear, no idea. I purchased that from him on Sunday, and it was nice to see it actually with the original factory mic, because you know them mics are usually well gone, so that was nice to get the original mic with that, because the original mics do look good and they feel good in the hand. They're a nice microphone to hold. They're like a duck eggy sort of blue with a silver front on them. Lovely mic. But yeah, yeah, let's see. Yeah, but it was illegal to piggyback or modify a UK spec CB radio. Well, if you want to put, well, like Radio Carolina, well, if you want to put it that way, it's supposed so. Because you basically what you're doing, if you put a mid-band, if you put a mid-band chip on top of a UK 1-40 FM chip, and you allow it to switch, then you're actually you're classed as transmitting out of band. Although mid-band is legal in the UK, they call it SEPT. But, or they call it SEPT or EU, but it's really the American 1-40. Hey up. Somebody's got the hammer and tongs out. Never mind. Never ends a bit pause, eh, folks? Anyway. You know, it was illegal to put, and I won't sell the radios just for somebody to actually pull the chips out of and put them into UK 1-40 radios. I don't have a problem with people doing that if they want to do that. Just that I'm not supplying them rigs so they can do that, because there's not a lot of these AM rigs about now, and it would be a real shame if, you know, there was none left in any collections anywhere, if nobody didn't preserve any. Because you've got to remember things like what I've got behind me there, then Krakos and Cobra 19s and something like a 19 GTX, I think that is, and the early Midlands, they're what started it. It was them sort of radios. I mean, you know, who remembers the Jaws Mark II? Was there ever a Jaws Mark 1? I've never seen one, but I've seen plenty of Jaws Mark IIs. They were little small AM rigs. And then you had things like the Sharp small window and the Sharp's large window. Sharp didn't make a UK legal FM radio. They were AM. I think the large window, I think that was SSB, but I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, that's it for CB radio. We'll go more in depth in that when I do the CB radio Sunday. But yeah, we've got a lot planned for that day. So, you know, if you like CBs, then you'll be interested in that. And you know what I've got? I've got a whole ruck of them on the shelf up there, all UK 1-40s. Mainly all volume and squelch models. One or two of them have got RF gain on them, but they're all mainly, well actually I don't think any of them have. No. Oh yeah, they have the little DNT M40. I think that's got RF gain. But yeah, I might buy one of them mid-band boards from Microchips and actually show how it's done. Although he's shown how it's done, I might do one on my channel for the kicks, see if I get the same results he gets, which I would have thought I would. But back to this fella here. We're well, that's it. You see, it's all about keeping it original. I mean, you can use AM rigs in this country now. I don't know whether you. I mean, I don't know whether you can use the original, what I call American AM rigs that were made for the FCC compliant market, made for the American market. I don't know whether you can use those, but George Christophe said that you can. So, but my friend Richard said that you can't. So, I don't know who's right. But that being said, after I've tuned them, they're spot on anyway. I tune them so that they're spot on frequency. They do 4 watts, and they do 4 watts if I can get them up to 4 watts. A lot of them you can only get them up to 3.5, but and that's not thrashing them. That's just what they'll do, and yeah. I think we'll get back. We'll do that CB radio Sunday. I might even do it on a weeknight. We might have a CB radio Friday or something. But we'll see. But we'll get onto them because somebody wants them. But I first have to ascertain, because he was asking me what chips were in them for the PLL, and that makes me a bit worried. Is he going to just rape them for the PLL chips? I don't want that happening to him. So if that's what he's going to do, he won't be getting them. I mean, yeah, it could be argued, what do I care? After I've sold them, why should I be bothered? Well, it's, if I've got no trouble of servicing, he wanted to buy them as they were, but no, I don't do that. I mean, I think Chris has been over a couple of those, but I'm not sure. But I think Chris has been over a couple of them, and they all work. They all work. One of them's got a stuck meter, so I'll either unstick or replace the meter. There's a realistic there, which has got a stuck meter, but it's a Uniden based radio. And the meter, I've got a spare meter in my parts box up there. Got a spare Uniden meter, it'll go in that, no problem. It's exactly the same. But I'll try and unstick the original. But the one I won't be selling, and I'm going to keep it, there's no PLL in that for anybody to steal. It's all crystal controlled, as far as I can see. I can't see a PLL in it, I've had a look. And it's a Midland International, I can't remember the model number, but it's an SSB AM. It's a shame it didn't have FM on it. But it's got a built-in power supply, but it's not like the DNT B40 where the power supply is just screwed to the back, was just nailed on, and it's an afterthought. This has actually been purposely designed to have the power supply in there, and it's a really well made power supply as well, and we'll see all that when I do I was surprised because I'm going to do a conversion because it's 110 volts, so what I need to do is going to bring it up on the variac to 110 volts, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to see what's coming off the secondary, and I'm going to buy, it'll only take 3 amps that, but what I'll do, I'll buy a 3 or a 4 amp transformer that can go in there, that'll fit in that space, and I will replace the transformer. That's all you need to replace, and it'll turn it into, and I'll probably put an IEC socket on the back, so it can be earthed, and it can be turned into a very usable UK. I'll recap the power supply and stuff. It'll turn it into a very useful UK radio, not UK spec, but if you want to use it on SSB, it's there. You know, I've got to test it all first. I've got to go on with my mate Carl one night, put it in the shack and go on, and go on AM and SSB on it, and it is on frequency. I've checked it. It's on frequency. It's absolutely spot on frequency. It wasn't. It is now. Just slightly tuned it and brought it up. So it is on frequency now. Hang on. Oh, that was on frequency. Anyway, let's see what we've got here. So what we're going to do now I know this is good, I can unplug that. I can turn the variac off. And I've just trumped it stinks. The tuner can come back off because I don't want the tuner flopping around while I'm changing resistors. And what we'll do, we'll go through this and we'll change the resistors. I'll let you know, I'll come back and let you know how I get on with that. You don't need to see a fat man changing resistors. But we've done everything else, and we'll go through, make sure everything's in spec, and you know, and that's ready to go back into its case, and we can put it back into its case, give it a good test, give it a good clean, the tech case that is. We've got the auto changer to do yet, and it's got a cartridge in. I don't know whether it's any good. It's a BSR, I think it's an XM5, so we'll check that, see if that's any good. You know, yeah, I mean that was the dawn of it, wasn't it? My big Midland mark was made in 1976, and that was when they started to sort of like started finding their way over here, wasn't it? Around about that time. I remember a friend of mine getting a Midland 3001, I think it was, for a Christmas present back in the late 70s, 78 or something daft. He got one of those. Carry on as you're doing repair and service in order to go back to the owner and knowing you did it and it is safe. Absolutely. You know, safety is everything. I mean, it really is. It's, you know, you can't put a price on safety. You just can't, and you shouldn't even do that. You know, if something's not right, then you make it right. Ew, I just missed my mouth there. Well, overfilled it. There we go. But yeah, you can't put a price. You can't be too. You know, you can't be too. You know, you can. I don't believe you can ever be too careful. You've got to be. You've got to do it right in the first place. And I mean, once this has been done, and it's finished. As long as the transformers, there's only 2 transformers, the main transformer and the output transformer. Well, you got these 2 here as well. As long as your IF transformers, as long as your transformers hold out, your valves are replaceable. Always will be for as far until they run out. But as long as you, if you develop an issue with a valve, and you catch it and you put another valve in, and don't blow up your transformer, you should be okay for bloody many years. I mean these transformers, they were built like brick shit houses. I mean they were very, very, you know, very well made to begin with. But what we'll do next, we'll get the transformer back off, because we don't work with the transformer, and we'll get the tuner off. We'll try the tuner wired the other way. Well, it should become clear actually when it goes back into the radio. When it goes back into the cabinet, it should become clear which way the tuner actually goes, which way up it goes, because there's a cut on there on the top. So that'll be some sort of index. So it will actually, you know, it will actually go on a certain way, and that'll give a clue as to whether the white wire goes on where I've put it, or whether they have to be switched. But I was getting stations on it. It probably could do with an alignment. You know, but it was getting stations. It was picking stuff up, so that's good enough. And you got to remember, it's all spread all over the bench. Nothing's grounded properly or all like that. It was just done in order to get it to work, so I could show you guys that it's working and it's now back to life. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there for now. And I'll be back on this one tomorrow afternoon. I'll probably dig out the resistors. I'll probably change them off camera because I can change them quicker. So I'll probably do all that off camera, and then let you know what I've done tomorrow night. Because like I say, you don't want to watch a fat man change. If there's anything you have to specifically do to change a resistor, if you can't like get in somewhere, I'll explain how I did that and stuff, you know. And we'll just get on with it and get it done. Get the case polished and cleaned. You know, get it all back as it should be. Ship shape and Bristol fashion, and get it, you know, get it in the window for sale. Get it gone. Let someone start enjoying it. I'll probably keep it for a couple of weeks to try it out. You know, I bought a new stylus as well. That'll go in it, a BSR ST10. Sorry, I could only find the one at Goldborn, and I bought it. It was about £3. I think we wanted £3. I think I bought 5 styluses. I think I give them a tenner for all of for the 5 of them or something like that. You know, which in my opinion, that wasn't too bad. You can pay nearly that on Fleabay for one, can't you? Just for one. And if it's got a 78 on it, you're paying a premium. But we've got the record player to do for it, yeah. We've got to do the BSR changer. I have got another changer I could cheat and throw it in. It's a black one. It's the same changer, just a different colour, because it come out of a bush. So I could throw that one in, but I won't. I will use the original changer. I'll service it up, and you'll see me do that, because I know you like to watch me doing the changes. So we'll do that. And I'm going to quit waffling. There's probably some of you saying, I wish he'd hurry up and go. No, I'm kidding. But that being said, I'll just have one more look at the chat. And put the old glasses back on. But yeah, you know, it was worth the trip. You're right, Mark. It's absolutely not worth, you know, it's not worth cutting corners, it's not worth taking chances. You know, if you're going to do the job correctly. And see you tomorrow afternoon, Mark. and you're welcome anytime, Mark. Everybody is. There we go. I'm going to leave it there. We've heard this. We've heard this running. It's now alive, as I knew it would be. There's a few things I need to do. Just checking resistors. All the caps have been done. We know the valves are good because it's producing audio and the radio is working. Certain things can go back into the cabinet. I'll do them off camera. The speakers can go back in. One lad was supposed to send me an email. I forgot his name. Supposed to send me an email so that I can arrange to get a record player from him to do and 2 speakers for this, but I've had a look and I've not found his email yet, so I will check tonight, see if he's emailed me. If he hasn't, I'll just repair the hole that's in one of my speakers, and I'll repair that with a bit of tissue paper and some glue, and I'll repair that, and that'll sort that out. And we'll put the speakers back in, wire them back to how they're supposed to be, and put the tuner back in. The aerial can't go in because that goes onto the inspection board at the back, and one of the little teddy clips is missing. I don't think it's missing. It wasn't missing when I got it. It's missing now. I lost it. It's down on the floor somewhere, so I need to find that, or get one the same size. Or I could even put cable tie. I could even tie that to the back with cable ties. It's not a problem. We can sort that out. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now, folks. And you all take it easy. And we'll probably find we lost some more cameras. There we go. Well, no, we've only lost camera 3. Let's just have one more go at getting that back. I don't think we will. Don't know why. That's weird. Activate. Oh, there we are. Yeah. I did that before and it didn't work. But yeah, there we go. Yeah. I think what you have to do is click on the screen, click on the thing, click on the screen where the camera would normally be displayed, and then click on activate, and I think that's what's done that. But we're working. You all take it easy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, folks. And remember to like, subscribe and share. Tell all your friends. Tell everybody that you know. Really plaster it about. I don't mind. You know, throw my name about. It don't bother me. You all take it easy. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now, folks.